Well, welcome back to the Ropes Family Podcast. This is the last episode of the year. And if you hear what sounds like Donnie from the Wild Thornberries in the background, it's shout out to the millennials who get that joke. It's Easton, and I've tried to get him set up to a spot to where he'll be quiet, but if you guys know Easton, it's impossible. He's at least locked in here where he can't get out. The reason why we have Easton in here is because it's the end of the year, and we have a special guest on this episode, and it's Allison.
Hey, thanks.
Allison is my wife, if you guys didn't know. We talk about Allison all the time. You should know Allison is my wife.
Yes.
How is that? How is it being my wife?
It's pretty awesome.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Are you just tooting my horn?
No, you're awesome.
Wow. I didn't pay her to say that.
So sweet.
It's close to Christmas.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Yep, that was your gift. So
I mean, our 10-year anniversary's coming
10
up.
years coming up. And like 15 for y'all
15 tomorrow.
Oh, wow.
The day this episode comes out. Happy
Yep.
anniversary.
Thank
to
you.
you guys.
Happy
Thanks.
anniversary.
Seasoned marriage people.
Seasoned.
Maybe y'all, can you give us some advice for the next 5 years?
No. I don't have any advice.
It's well, we'll figure it out. I
My
think
husband wanted to buy me a shirt that said difficult on it for our anniversary.
I
Just
think that's-
difficult.
you know, he's just being honest.
That explains
he's
something.
learning honesty. He's learning how to communicate.
Sure. Let's go with that.
He's using extra tools to learn how to communicate
Right.
what he's thinking. You know, of his 15 years of marriage to you. This is what sums it up.
It's a lot.
I don't know if I could fit what I think of Allison on a shirt, so I won't be getting you one.
Thanks. It's probably best you don't.
At least he didn't just say difficult.
Yeah.
It's
Sure, he has a few other words
there's
for
a
that.
lot of words that I couldn't put on a shirt. They wouldn't fit because of all of my love for you. Would not fit on a chair.
Sweet.
Would not fit on a shirt. So today we're gonna be when we were trying to figure out what to talk about, we decided we're gonna talk about resolutions or setting goals for this next year. Mainly because we're neither one good at it. You know, I don't know if I've ever stuck to a resolution. Have you stuck to a resolution before, Courtney? Do you have one?
Once, I think, maybe.
What was it?
Losing weight. And then I fell off the wagon and burned it to the ground.
Oh,
But I did one time. Once.
what kind of wagon was it? Like a red
Yeah.
Red Rider wagon?
Yeah. Metal.
Oh, cool. So Allison, what resolution have you successfully done before?
None.
I
Zero.
think actually you completed a great one. Every year you get to do another year of marriage with me. You could say that's your resolution.
Yes.
So sweet.
You've almost done that for 10 years. Back to the anniversary things.
Yeah.
So we're talking about resolutions, and Courtney, can you define what is a resolution for us? Can you define that?
A resolution is a firm decision to do or not to do something.
Yeah, I like that. I also think it's like an answer, maybe, because like once we find a resolution, so it's
Yeah.
like a conflict that we find a solution to.
It's
So-
like a re-solution.
Whoa! There, we should have had her on the
Mind blown.
Wow!
Mic drop.
Wow! Dang. Okay, I quit my job. You can have this forever from now on. Resolution. Wow! If you just read words,
We got to stop having guests that are smarter than us.
it makes us dumb.
The junior high boys wanted to be on it. Let's go to them next time.
I think so. I think that'd be on our
Yeah, it's more our level.
Yeah, be good. So I think you wrote down on here: New Year's resolutions can set you up for failure or make you feel like you're unworthy. Why did you do that? Why'd you put that on there?
Because if you set resolutions that you're probably not going to do or obtain, then you are going to fail. And then you're going to be like, wow, I'm not even good enough to keep up with this one
Yeah,
or two things.
yeah. So why would I do the next one?
Yeah.
if
Why
I'm
would
not-
I even try?
Right. Why would I even try? What are some? He can't get out. It's all right. Easton ran out, but he can't get out. I got him locked in here. Yeah, it's locked. So why do we feel the need to set resolutions? Why do you, Allison, do you have an answer for that? Or do you feel like resolutions set you up for failure?
Yes, sometimes.
Why do you think that? Do you set like lofty ones or do you set like manageable ones?
They're usually manageable
Yeah.
for a few days.
A few days.
And then you just go back to your old ways.
Mm.
You get comfortable.
So like you're set in a habit. So it takes a couple days to establish a habit, correct? Right? Have you guys heard that before?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sometimes we get stuck trying to establish habit, but sometimes habits are hard,
Yes.
right? You know. So why do we feel the need to set resolutions? What do you guys think?
Everyone else is doing it.
Yeah. I think it goes back to kind of what we talked about last week. We place the pressure of the our neighbors or what we see on social media or other people on ourselves. And we're like, well, they're doing that goal of not drinking Dr. Pepper for a year. I'm going to set that goal. And then we get 2 days in and we got to get a Dr. Pepper because we're going to drive ourselves crazy, or coffee, or whatever we try to give up or get better at. You know, I think like we feel the need to set resolutions to become better people or be better at being people, a person, you know. So I think it goes back to comparing and putting the pressures from other people's lives on ourselves.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
So our New Year's resolution's biblical?
Yeah, I think you can set goals and that's fine. But I don't. It just depends on what I put down is I think that seeking His kingdom is important when setting those goals. Mm-hmm. You know, we've talked about Matthew 6:33, seek first His kingdom and all these things will be added. Mm-hmm. Let the word of Christ dwell within you richly. If you're doing those things and then setting the goals behind those, I think that's the way to set ourselves up for success. Because if we're setting these goals or resolutions without having the backing of Jesus or seeking His kingdom, then we're going to be disappointed in the end. We're not going to have the backing that we need to finish the goals that we have. Sorry about all the noise. It's Easton. It's okay.
Yeah, I like that. Godly goals. Some godly goals is what we need.
Yeah.
But I also agree with that, is that once, it's not biblical if we just lean on our own strength for that. Mm-hmm. I mean, we have to pray to God to have that endurance to get through that year of doing whatever you're wanting to do, whatever you're planning on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree for sure. It's not, and a lot of the times it's these relationships or these resolutions, or they require a relationship or somebody to hold us accountable, right? Sometimes it's a like-minded Christian person that's your friend, like an accountability partner, or sometimes it's just your community you're part of to keep you accountable. Hey, how's your resolution that you set going?
Yeah.
You know?
Proverbs 16:9 says, "The heart of a person plans his way, but it is the Lord who establishes his steps." So I feel like if we set goals that make us, be more like Jesus, then it's biblical. Mm-hmm. But if we're trying to better ourselves, in quotes, better, or trying to be more like the world or to fit in with the world, then it's probably not biblical.
Yeah, I think so. Like it goes back to seeking first His kingdom, right? Don't seek what the world wants, seek what He wants, and set your goals around that, and set your things around that.
So we can talk more about transformation.
Yeah, I think that's a good part. Let's do that.
In the new year, transform ourselves into something instead of just setting a goal that we're not ever going to obtain. And Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will."
I think that we've talked about this a bunch down in youth and as well as on this podcast of being countercultural. Jesus was not like the culture. He was different. And we're called to be like Jesus, be transformed, more renewing our mind and being more like Him. I think that goes along with Romans 8 perfectly. I've been listening to a book lately. I'm on chapter 2. So I've started this book about a week ago and I'm on chapter 2 now. It's called, and forgive me, this is the title of the book. It says, it's called To Hell with the Hustle. And it's by Jeff Bethke. He's written a couple books, family-oriented books. He wrote one called Take Back Your Family. That's a good one. He just kind of combats the culture war that we have, a lot like the pressures that we feel that we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. He kind of combats that with, this is what we're supposed to be doing. But in the chapter I listened to, he talked about how he and his family, instead of how they set goals to do over a year, or resolutions. They call them formations. And so, and that kind of lines up with seeking first his kingdom, seeking first Jesus' kingdom, and we being more formed into what Jesus wants us to be, more than just setting a goal just to get better at being a person. We want to set our eyes on Jesus and be formed more into him. And he makes a point that we're always being formed. We're always being formed by something. We're either being formed by our friends or our social media accounts or whatever, and it's just like the first episode we ever recorded. What is a disciple? We're all being discipled by something. We're all being formed by the things of this world that we're allowing in our lives. Part of being a disciple is being formed by Jesus. Does that make sense? Y'all follow me on that?
Yes.
So moving on a little bit, do y'all have any questions or comments on that? Questions? I'm going to answer your questions here. Do y'all have any comments on that?
No, I like that, formations.
Yeah, I didn't come up with that. It was Jeff Bethke. But I'd like to say that I came up with it, but I didn't. But I really do think it's a good point because also when you call them formations, it's almost like you have a goal that's bigger than that can be accomplished, right? And so if we fail at a goal, we fail at a goal. We'll never get there. But if we fail at being formed that day, there's still tomorrow to be formed. We can still repent. We can still turn our eyes upon Jesus. We can still seek first his kingdom and be formed into who he called us to be or whatever we're trying to get. And I think it sets us up better for success, calling it formations than calling it a goal or a resolution.
Because we're being formed and molded every day.
Yeah.
And it's not like we have until December 31st of 2025. We have forever. I mean, till we die.
Yeah, spiritual formation is a lifelong thing. It
Still
never
working.
stops. It never stops. It keeps going. And we will. Our goal as Christians should be to be like Christ, and Christ is perfect. And in this life, we will never be that way, but we need to be striving and trying to be that way. And we have grace for the times that we're not. So we can move on a little bit. So, Courtney, you listed, I'm kind of spoiling it, but Courtney, you listed some goals that you want to lead you down the path. But Allison, I wanted to ask you first, in what areas do you feel that our family could grow in? I know something we started over a year ago was reading the Bible to our kids every day. We started that November of 2022, November of 2023, and we kind of kept it going, and then it kind of morphed. We were just reading and praying before bed, and then it kind of morphed into what we do today, which is a family worship little gathering for 10 minutes, where we read the Bible. We've been asking questions and talking about it a little bit with the family worship guide, and then singing songs. It's just kind of morphed into that. But is there something that you would like us to work on this year that you think that would help us grow and be formed?
Well, reading the Bible together, I think our kids have learned more about Jesus and what we're called to do. And so I would love to see us serving more together as a family. At night, we always pray to be a mission-minded family, and I'd really like to put that into action. And having little ones, I mean, that can be challenging. I mean, even having Easton
in here while we record a podcast.
Yes, just doing a podcast can be challenging, but I don't want it to be an obstacle. I want to use our kids and let them serve right alongside with us.
I think it's a good point. I think not looking at our kids as obstacles, but as vessels that the gospel could be shared through that's an incredible way of thinking. I don't do that enough. Yeah. I'm always like, oh, I can't do this. I got a kid with me, but I need to start looking at them as, vessels that God can use to share the gospel. And I think there's a good point to that. I don't know if we can share this on this podcast, but a couple months ago we were at your work, and we brought Easton to lunch, and we were eating lunch with you, and Easton started to sing a song called "There's Power in the Name of Jesus," and songs like that. And you could tell that it really affected those in the room that didn't have a relationship with Christ, but could see that God can still work in a 2-year-old, and God can use a 2-year-old to share his love with people, and we weren't going in there expecting that, but I think that that's something that we can definitely work on and be formed on. But it's going to be tough, obviously it's tough in here, but I think that's a great goal.
Yeah, I think just being intentional and seeking ways to include them, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be grand. We don't have to hop on a plane somewhere, but even just at the grocery store, like helping somebody out.
Yeah.
So that's kind of my goal.
I like that.
Thanks.
That's a good formation.
Check back next January.
We'll see how it goes. Hey, Courtney, so what do you think? What do you got?
Got a log list here. I'll just cut this down a little bit.
No, take your whole thing, whatever you want.
I think pursuing holiness was my first one, and it's I do give in to what those around me are doing, and I'm very quick to start judging or hating on people or whatever, because that's what my friends are doing, or that's what whoever's doing, and I want to work on that a lot. And that's just, no one's ever said anything to me, I just know it myself, kind of thing. But then with my family, I think knowing the end is heaven. I mean, this world is a disaster. And everything you look at online or whatever, the news, if you watch that, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just get to feeling so down. And my kids are like, did you hear whatever? And I'm like, yeah, nothing we can do about it. We don't need to stress. So I think just telling them and reminding them that no matter what this is, we have heaven. So things will be good and perfect one day.
That's one thing I tell the youth kids. Sorry to interject.
No, good.
At the end of all this, there's Jesus, and Jesus is on the other side of whatever is happening. So that's why Jesus tells us to seek first his kingdom, because he's on the other side of whatever thing we're anxious about. It's good.
And then, of course, being thankful and joyful and not letting every little thing get to me. Like you said about kids, we're having some issues with our end of semester grades here.
Yeah.
I'm about to lose it. But I have to remember that my kids are healthy. They're safe. We're not having to worry about, being persecuted, and we're all here tonight, and I have to remember to be thankful and joyful for the little things.
Yeah. I think that's a big point. And
then my final one is surrendering wholly to him, because I don't want to be not in control. Control
Really?
issues. That's shocking, I know.
Me too.
I love being in control. So I'm like, okay, your will. Oh, no, I don't like what you're planning here. And I try to take back the reins. So, and my verse for that was, commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans, because, I'm not in control.
Yeah, I think and we talked about that verse last week, right? Commit. Yeah, and I think that goes along with every verse that we've talked about for the last 40 podcasts. Seek first his kingdom. Let the word of Christ dwell within you richly. Commit to the Lord whatever you do, and he will establish your plans. I think that's the goal, and that's also the solution. If we set a goal, we still need to seek God, and God will establish our plans. God will set our goals. So, like I said, it's he is the goal and he is the solution, which is good.
Do y'all have any New Year's traditions?
Oh yeah, you don't have any like Hill family tradition or things you do? Traditions?
No, I mean like what we eat on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
We eat black eyed peas, cabbage. There's something else, but I can't think of it. But we always do those too.
Yes.
We make Ben eat one piece of cabbage, and me one black eyed pea because I don't like them.
I would have to sit there all day to eat those. Yes.
I like black eyed peas.
I like cabbage.
Load me up.
But we need that good luck and wealth.
Yeah, exactly. That's what black eyed peas are.
Oh,
Yeah.
the wealth?
Black eyed peas are well.
They don't work.
Oh, I thought those were good luck.
Oh, are they? Okay,
oh.
then cabbage as well.
No wonder.
Oh, we don't eat cabbage.
No wonder.
There's
We got
the
it
problem.
backwards.
That's
I don't
it.
know. One of them
That's
is
it
one.
right
Those
there.
things.
We figured it out. Seek first his kingdom and eat black eyed peas and cabbage. That's the solution. Allison, what do we do on New Year's Eve?
So
What's our
I don't know
family
how many
tradition?
years we've done this, but we always search out the sketchiest Chinese food place in town.
Okay.
I have looked up worst reviews, lowest on Yelp, and that's where we eat. We like to bring in the new year with possibly
That's
food poisoning.
Yeah,
something.
it's a good time.
It's interesting.
We stopped in Hobbs, New Mexico one time and ate, and it was so weird. It was the weirdest. It was the weirdest Chinese food place. I think
Yes.
they had like a full crab, but they just had the crab shell with the eyeballs on it, and there was nothing in it.
I will say, since we've had
That's strange.
kids,
We've had
they've
to,
gotten less sketchy.
yeah, we've had to kind of be careful with
Yeah.
that.
You know.
The first, yeah, I think so. It's been eight or 9 years since we've done this because we started it when we were childless. Is that the right word?
Yes.
It was just you and me. It was just you and me, babe. We went back there and we ate that sketchy Chinese food because that's all we could afford, and that's still all we can afford. But I think that so yeah, they've had to get better and better as we go.
Yes.
What was the sketchy one we had it last year?
Oh.
I don't think it was sketchy. It was expensive. That's probably what the sketchy part was about. Did we eat Tokyo?
No.
Or not Tokyo.
The one at West End. The really nice one.
PF Chang's.
Yes.
Yeah,
sketchy.
it's
No,
not
it's
sketchy
not
anymore.
sketchy at all.
We shied away from the sketchy.
Okay, so you just eat Chinese food.
Now it's
They're-
just Chinese food. But like I sent Allison a picture of one that just opened. I'm like, this is the one we're gonna go to because it's in a strip mall. Usually like strip mall, single little tiny building, one person in there. That's gonna be the best or the worst to go to, I think.
Looking forward to it.
More power to you.
Courtney, do you want to give us the family challenge?
Sure.
This was yours. This was your idea this time.
Family challenges. Discuss what your family plans are for the new year. And then are there areas of your lives that need to give more fully to Jesus, that you need to give more fully to Jesus?
I like those. I like those challenges. That's good. You got anything else?
No. Thanks for having me on your 40th podcast.
Hey,
Way to go.
congratulations. Yep.